And we are most pleased to be joined now by the chair of the College Football Playoff Selection Committee, Kirby Hocutt, also the athletic director at Texas Tech. Kirby, we've spent a lot of time talking about this decision. What carried the day for Alabama over a conference champion, Ohio State?
Well, the selection committee looked at a one-loss Alabama team, that one loss coming against the final ranking number 7 team, Auburn, in a very competitive game. We compared that to a 2-loss Ohio State team, obviously the one loss at home to number 2 ranked Oklahoma, but more damaging was the 31-point loss to unranked Iowa. We spent a great amount of time last night into the morning, again, beginning at 7:30 this morning, talking about the full body of work. Now that the complete season is in front of us, we have the full body of work. The selection committee just favored Alabama's full body of work over that of Ohio State. And it was consistent over the course of the year as we saw Alabama play week in and week out. Our rankings show, when we start with a clean sheet of paper each and every week, that the selection committee believed that Alabama was the better football team. And it was hard, Reese. We spent a lot of time. We challenged ourselves late last night into the morning hours, again beginning at 7:30 this morning. When you looked at Ohio State, the win over Wisconsin, winning the Big Ten championship, when you looked at their resume, the wins they have over CFP top 25 teams, it was impressive, but it wasn't enough for the selection committee to place them over Alabama. The selection committee has continued to be impressed with their performance on the field, and we believe we got it right this week. We're confident we got it right, that Alabama's that number 4 team.
So it's accurate to say that the selection committee felt that Alabama was unequivocally better, because that's the criteria if you're going to trump a conference champion, correct?
Yes, sir. Alabama was clearly the number 4 ranked team in the country as a non-champion.
Okay, now it seems to me, Kirby, that for Alabama, for Ohio State, and even for USC, that the arguments against their inclusion were far more compelling than the arguments for their inclusion. And it seems that you agree with that by saying that at the end of the day, it was really that meltdown in Iowa City that kept Ohio State on the outside looking in. Is it fair to say the arguments against carried more weight in this particular meeting of the selection committee than the arguments for these teams?
Well, I would say our charge is very simple. Our charge as the selection committee is to identify the 4 very best teams in the country for participation into the semifinals. And when there are close separation between teams, then we're instructed to look at certain criteria. In this case, the margins weren't close enough for us to look at those matters. So our charge is very clear. The 4 very best teams, and Alabama is included in those 4 teams this college football season.
Okay, Big Ten's not in the playoff. Big Ten struggled in the last 2 editions of the playoff. You guys try to have a clean sheet. What measures did you take to try to make sure that the Big Ten's past performance in the playoff didn't bleed into the evaluation process this year?
You know, we don't look at conference affiliation. Again, we look at the 4 very best teams. Conference championships are important. If you look at the history of the CFP playoffs, 14 of the 16 teams have been conference champions. But, however, we have the flexibility and the discretion to put non-champions in the top 4 if they are one of the 4 very best. And that's what took place last night, was confirmed this morning. And